Often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back tonight to the Online Sim Racing Network as we get back to the Battle of the Crown with the ExtremeMotorsports99.com. And tonight, the Extreme Motorsports brings you the Overtons 150, that's Overtons 150, Chase Race 3 of 5, Season number 10, ExtremeMotorsports99.com Camping World Truck Series, brought to you by the AdvancedSimulationProducts.com, that's AdvancedSimulationProducts.com, specializing in custom button boxes. My commentator Sean Zulu, and up here in the booth with me, my right-hand man as usual is David Everly. How are you doing tonight, Dave?
Doing pretty good, Sean. Doing pretty good.
Well, we kick things back off here with the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Truck Series. Last week, ladies and gentlemen, the Extreme Motorsports was off. It was an off week, basically. So we hope everybody had an amazing break. And in the case of these drivers, they did not have a break. Most of them were actually out there practicing, trying their best to get this crown away from our defending champion, 57 of Hunter McDaniel, with the Maverick Motorsports team. Well, let's take a recap from the last race we had, which was the Samson Motorsports 128 at Chicagoland Speedway. That was the week before last. We had Curtis Vollmer bring it home for his first win of the season. He is with the Samson Motorsports team. John Sterling came out second, Greg Bradshaw third, Tyler Holman fourth, Bobby Tinch fifth, Tommy Haynes sixth, Gary Woobot seventh, David Elliott eighth, Joshua Gillen ninth, and Tommy Amasi did round up the top 10. And in that race, we had so many green flag pit stops, which did play a very key role in the way the race played out towards the very end. And also, we had a big wreck on lap 83, which did take out a lot of chase contenders and also shaking up points. Some not so good and some very good. We had drivers who gained sometimes some even 7 spots from the bottom to the top. So that was pretty amazing. And speaking of these points, we have Curtis Vollmer, new leader in points. That's Curtis Vollmer leading in points. He is 3 points ahead of second place driver John Sterling. We have Gary Whitson. Gary Whitson is third place in points, only 3 points ahead of fourth place driver as well, Greg Bradshaw. We have Tyler Holman in fifth place. Tyler Holman fifth place, only 3 points behind fourth place driver Greg Bradshaw. Cody McFadden and that's Cody McFadden and Bryce Whitson Jr. That's Cody McFadden and Bryce Whitson Jr. tied for sixth place in the points. We have Joshua Gillen seventh place in points, only 2 points behind the two tied drivers for sixth. We have Gary Woobot. Gary Woobot is 8th place in points, only 2 points behind 7th place driver Joshua Gillen. Scott Mitten is 9th place in points, only 1 point behind 8th place driver Gary Woobot. We have Hunter McDaniel, defending champion, had a rough week last race. Unfortunately, he got collected in one of the big wrecks, and as a result of that, lost a lot of spots, and now he is in 10th place, but only 1 point behind Scott Mitten for the 9th place spot. Jay Pryor with Maverick Motorsports as well here is 11th place in points, only 4 points behind his teammate Hunter McDaniel. Randy Perdue is 4 points behind Jay Pryor in the 12th place spot, and rounding up the rest of the points is Tommy Amasi, 13th in points, only 2 points behind 12th place driver Randy Perdue, and that's all 14 drivers in the chase. Well, before we move on to tonight's race, gonna go over this chat, so please type it up, say something, say hello. Let's know what's on your mind. Gonna go to the top. We have Brandon Ketchum. Brandon Ketchum is back. Welcome back, Brandon Ketchum. Hope you're feeling better this week. Yes, you are. He was not feeling too well at Chicagoland Speedway, but good to see you back, man, and I'm glad you're feeling better. We have Gillen Motorsports himself. That is Joshua Gillen. Welcome back, Joshua Gillen, and we look forward to seeing you on the pole tonight. We have Jai Knott, and that is Tom Tucker. Welcome to the Online Sim Racing Network there, Jai. Hope you're doing well tonight, or I should say Tom Tucker. And Randy Perdue. Welcome back, Randy Perdue. It's good to see you in the chat. Hope you're doing well tonight. And Pat T is back. Welcome back, Pat T. We did miss you. Hope you're doing well as well. All the way down to the bottom here. So far, looks like that's all the viewers that typed in the chat. So we're going to move on to tonight's race here, the Tricky Triangle, Chicagoland Speedway, with the new starting lineup here, ladies and gentlemen. And our pole sitter, the pole sitter is the 74 of Greg Bradshaw, who is a chase contender and finished third in last race we had at Chicagoland. Cody McFadden second, Bryce Whitson Jr. third, Hunter McDaniel fourth, Curtis Vollmer 5th, Gary B. Whitson 6th, Wiley Tierheimer 7th, Adam Eisenhower 8th, Travis Pryor 9th. Travis had some bad luck at Chicago as well, hoping to have a better race this week. And Randy Perdue in the 10th place spot, rounding up the top 10. Brandon Ketchum is 100% here tonight in 11th place. Tyler Hallman 12th. Nick Hunt 13th. Mr. Highside himself, Ralph Vanderforst 14th. Bobby Tinch 15th. We have John Sterling, one of our new additions, one of the aliens, 16th. Jay Pryor 17th. Tommy Amasi 18th. Chris Voiles 19th. Gary Woobot 20th, rounding up the top 20. Tommy Haynes 21st. Jeffrey Gillam 22nd. Joshua Gillen 23rd. Scott Brooks 24th. Scott Mitten 25th. We have David Elliott 27th. And Octavio Rondoletto, that's Octavio Rondoletto rounding up the rest of the field, giving us 26 drivers starting tonight's race. Oh, and a returning viewer in the chat, we have John Marine. Welcome back, John Marine. It's been way too long. Hope you're doing well tonight, man. Hope you're doing well. Ladies and gentlemen, Chase Race 3 of 5, season number 10. Once we go green flag racing, I will go over the drivers who are racing in this chase. This is the road to the crown, the road to the championship, as these drivers all go against our Maverick Motorsports driver Hunter McDaniel, defending champion for that crown. So it's gonna make things extra interesting. Here we are going green for 110 laps with the repaved track here, Pocono Raceway on iRacing. Pace car is off, the green flag is out, and Bradshaw wastes no time whatsoever. We are green flag racing, Chase Race 3 of 5, the Overtons 150, season number 10, Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Truck Series. This is brought to you by the AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. That's AdvancedSimulationProducts.com, specializing in custom button boxes. Very long race coming up here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 110 laps, that is 110 laps. And as usual, the drivers do have a 65% fuel limit. So in this case, we should expect to see at least 3 to 4 required pit stops with a race this long. At the same time, the track temp is 103 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 103 degrees Fahrenheit. Clear skies, the air temperature at 74 degrees Fahrenheit with winds from the south at 4 miles per hour. And so far, a lot of single file going on as 86 of Adam pouncing on the 1-3 of Gary B. Whitson. Side by side they go on the exit of turn number 1. And a slingshot was engaged by Eisenhower against Whitson. And he will lead quite the nose before turn 2. Power exit by Eisenhower, and he gets around Whitson, and that bumps Adam up to 6th and Whitson down to 7th. And going over the drivers in this chase, ladies and gentlemen, we have Gary B. Whitson, Hunter McDaniel, Jay Pryor, Randy Perdue, Joshua Gillen, Bryce Whitson Jr., Curtis Vollmer, Scott Mitten, Greg Bradshaw, John Sterling, Tyler Homan, Gary Woobot, Bobby Tinch, including Tommy Amasi. I'm gonna read that backwards. Tommy Amasi, Bobby Tinch, Gary Woobot, Tyler Homan, John Sterling, Greg Bradshaw, Scott Mitten, Curtis Vollmer, Bryce Whitson Jr., Joshua Gillen, Randy Perdue, Jay Pryor, Hunter McDaniel, and Gary B. Whitson. And two more viewers tuning in tonight. We have They Call Me Red. That is Ken Ladd. Welcome back, Ken Ladd. And indeed, a long race tonight, 270 something miles long. Okay. And Christina in the chat, let's go catch 'em. Welcome back, Christina. For the back in the pack, the 1-2 of Brandon Ketchum so far was being challenged by 77 of Tyler Holman. But looks like Holman decided to just back it down, entering turn 1 so far just to ride with 4 laps in. These drivers do have a lot of grip, the most grip they'll most likely have all run from now, and so far Tyler Holman goes to the inside of Ketchum side by side between turns number 1 and 2. Off the exit of 2, the 12 of Ketchum does lose the spot to Tyler Holman, and that bumps Ketchum down to 12th place and Tyler Holman up to 11th place. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a repaved track, repaved Pocono Raceway. With that said, that does encourage a lot more side-by-side action, a lot more battling, a lot more room for error, and a lot more room to push it. And at the exact same time, a lot more, it also does come with a lot more tire conservation if they will be pushing it that much, which they most definitely will. But going back up front so far, Greg Bradshaw has a 10th of a second lead against second place driver Cody McFadden. And ladies and gentlemen, just last week we had a chance of seeing some Xfinity cars or B cars race right here at Pocono Raceway, and in about 15 laps, 10 to 15 laps is when the machine started acting up. Basically, just depending on the driver's driving style, the machines would either start getting loose or tight with 15 laps on a run. So here before too long, I'm pretty sure most drivers should start backing off to try and avoid causing trouble. And Mr. Highside himself, Ralph Van der Forst, so far just having a Sunday drive in the 16th place spot. Currently getting challenged, being approached by 66 of Bobby Tinch, a chase contender. He on 17th place spot with only 6 laps in. Looks like Bobby goes to the inside of Ralph. Ralph stays high. Contact up front, 00 of Nick Hunt involved, 88 of Sterling involved. Big wreck exiting turn number 3, and the caution flies between Nick Hunt and John Sterling.
Well, as we go back to the replay, actually, I'm not sure. Contact there. I think the 00 of Nick Hunt just lost it. Let's see if we go back on the replay here. Oh, contact between him. Yep, contact between the 88 and the 00. They both go into that outside wall, but looks like everybody else. Oh, nope. I do believe that was Chris Boyles that might have been involved there at the end, but tough luck for both of those drivers.
Oh, indeed. And in the case of Nick Hunt is smoking heavily as we speak, trying to keep those temps in check, because that does restrict the airflow, and that, oh man, hopefully he has enough time, or hopefully his pit crew has enough time to get that machine back up and running, so he can be able to get back out there and put down some more laps. Very unfortunate once again for both drivers involved. Also a reminder, and also for the viewers who might not know about this, but the Extreme Motorsports did stop running quick fixes or backup cars, backup trucks, which means the truck you come with will be the truck you end with. So in this case, all drivers who might have bad enough damage to end their night will in fact end their nights, unfortunately. But here, going back up front, we are still being led by Greg Bradshaw, second place driver Cody McFadden, third place Hunter McDaniel, Bryce Whitson Jr. fourth, and Adam Eisenhower in the 5th place spot. And so far here, this far, Adam Eisenhower is new to the top 5 after starting 8th. And unfortunately, after that incident there, Chris Voiles, who got a piece of the action as well, is on pit road as we speak, getting some damage fixed. Well, scratch that. Chris Voiles retiring early on for the evening with less than 10 laps in. Very unfortunate. But up front, the leader is leading everybody down pit road, and they do follow. And ladies and gentlemen, drivers pitting in with 8 to 9 laps in. That lets you know just how bad the tire fall off might be. And Greg Bradshaw, not able to maintain his lead off pit road, has been beaten by Hunter McDaniel. So Hunter McDaniel comes out first, Greg Bradshaw second, Bryce Whitson Jr. third, Cody McFadden fourth, and Curtis Vollmer in the 5th place spot. And ladies and gentlemen, since this is chase number 3 of 5, chase race 3 of 5, that means only 2 more races left before the end of season number 10 in all series, the Pro K&N series, the Truck series, and Xfinity series with the ExtremeMotorsports99.com, and that means signups are opening. So if you guys would like to be a part of the action, if you'd like to be a driver for next season, check out their website, ExtremeMotorsports99.com. Drop the first E in Extreme and start with the X. ExtremeMotorsports99.com. ExtremeMotorsports99.com. What you do too is you click on the series you'd like to join and scroll to the very bottom to register. But keep in mind, they do place you in a series, or in the oval side of things. They place you in different series based on your experience level. So that's ExtremeMotorsports99.com. In the updated top 10 this far, Hunter McDaniel, new race leader, Greg Bradshaw second, Bryce Whitson Jr. third, Cody McFadden fourth, Curtis Vollmer fifth, Adam Eisenhower sixth, we have Jay Pryor seventh, Gary B. Whitson eighth, Randy Perdue ninth, and Wally Tierheimer rounding up the top 10. Looks like tonight our leader Hunter McDaniel rocking a new paint scheme. Ooh, and so far our heaviest mover is the 8-0 of Jay Pryor. Jay Pryor has gained 10 spots this far with only 10 laps in, going from 17th place to 7th place. That is quite impressive. And looking at his pit time, he had a 10.3 second pit stop, which was most likely a 2-tire pit stop. Yep. No, I think it took 4 tires. Yeah, 4 tires. With some gas, and the leader up front, Hunter McDaniel, 9.5 second pit stop, 2 tires. And we are now back 1 to green, still being led by Hunter McDaniel, who is starting on the outside. because the leaders do have lane choice. So Hunter McDaniel with the assistance of Cody McFadden, inside lane being led by Greg Bradshaw with the help of Bryce Whitson Jr. Oh, also, ladies and gentlemen, an interesting fact: iRacing did come out with a new update this week, which means this is new to these drivers. So they are all still adapting here as we speak. As the race progresses, they'll still be adapting, but they did get some practice in before tonight. But here as we speak, we are now getting bunched up nice and tight, exiting turn 3, going green. Pace car is off and Hunter finds the pedal. The green flag is out. He gets a great restart against his two biggest opponents behind him, Greg Bradshaw and Cody McFadden, and some bump draft action taking place between Adam Eisenhower and Cody McFadden as Adam backs off here entering turn number 1. 99 of Bryce Whitson. Oh, he almost gets into the 80s of Eisenhower, but backs off in time to avoid causing trouble. And now side by side between 48 of Vollmer and Whitson Jr. as we speak. And two teammates have found each other, Bryce Whitson and Gary Whitson here so far, single file. Whoa. Some drivers on the apron there, no harm done. That was Adam Eisenhower. But looks like there, the 48 of Vollmer did back off to let these guys by, because he did see some serious stuff happening up front here between Eisenhower, including McFadden. So he did back off to avoid what might have been something that looked like trouble brewing up. But we are still green flag racing. And now Bryce Whitson gets a great run against Adam Eisenhower. Oh, caution flies here on lap 13. Oh, Tyler Holman was involved in that one.
As we go back to the replay, that's actually going to start with Jay Pryor here. It looks like contact there. Let's see where it all started between him and the 13. Gary Whitson as Jay Pryor gets turned. And then that just starts a chain reaction behind him here. Quite a few trucks involved. Unfortunate though, is some of them were trying to slow down and up into the outside wall.
Oh man, yeah, indeed. Yeah, Tyler Holman and Travis Pryor got a big piece of that. He actually T-boned the spinning 77 of Tyler Holman, unfortunately. So both damaged machines and the 1.5 of Woolbot as well involved. But in this case, Tyler Holman getting the worst end of that deal with some heavy smoke from the rear end of that 77 machine. But going back up front, we are still being led by Hunter McDaniel. Greg Bradshaw second, Cody McFadden third, Adam Eisenhower fourth, and Bryce Whitson Jr. in a 5th place spot. Oh, don't worry, Pat. Looking at a status check on the 8-0 of Jay Pryor. Yep, that machine lives to fight for the rest of the race. He should still be good once the green flag goes. It's not the damage is not as bad as it looks, so he should still be okay. But in the case of Travis Pryor, he will have to spend some time on pit road, trying to hammer some of that damage out. So the bright side here, Pat, is that one of the two machines is still running. Hope it's a bright side. And the leader up front, Hunter McDaniel, deciding to stay out. And a few drivers follow his lead and stay out right behind him. But actually we have half the field going down pit road. So far first place through 11th place, actually first through 12th place stay out. First place is Hunter McDaniel and 12th place is Joshua Gillen. They all stay out, but everybody else going down pit road. And this does give us some time for a race interview. Let's focus on the 5 of Randy Perdue. Well, ladies and gentlemen, joining us up in the booth is the 5 of Randy Perdue. Got a up there, Randy?
Hey, good evening.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, doing good too, thank you. And Randy, tonight, man, your machine seems to have been doing well this far here with only 15 laps in. Couldn't tell much, but you have been doing an amazing job this far. But what's your take on the new pavement so far?
It's a lot of it seems kind of the same. It's still a little bumpy out there. The tunnel turn is completely different, and you approach it completely different than you used to as well.
Oh, 10-4. And Randy, here we have a new update. Basically, you guys are running different setups out there, or a different setup from the last build. How are you finding it so far?
A little tight, kind of as usual. At least for me, I like to run it a little bit loose, but it's seems a lot more stable.
Oh, copy that, man. That is great to hear. And from what you've been seeing out there in practice too, Randy, where do you see yourself on lap 110?
Well, I'd like to see myself in victory lane for sure.
Oh, copy that, man. Well, we look forward to seeing you 8 spots higher on lap 110, and also you are rocking an amazing paint, the quality repair services. Want to talk about that a little bit?
Thank you. I didn't catch the very last thing you said.
Oh, I was saying, would you like to tell us a little bit about the quality repair services?
Oh, sure, yeah. Quality repair services. I'm a small business owner. It's a handyman service, and do a little bit of everything. I'm an electrician by trade, and been in business for about 7 years now.
Oh, 10-4. And where are you located?
Flowery Branch, Georgia. I service Metro Atlanta.
Oh, copy that, ladies and gentlemen. That is Quality Repair Services. The phone number here is 678-481-4570. Check out their website, qrsga.com. Well, Randy, you're doing an amazing job this far, and see you 8 spots higher on lap 110.
Thank you very much. You have a great evening. You're doing a great job. I love when I get done, I love to watch the replay and listen to your commentary. Doing a great job.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. And that was the 5 of Randy Perdue. He is a chase contender, currently here in the 9th place spot behind 75 of Wally Tierheimer. And starting tonight's race, Randy was 12th place in points, only 4 points behind Jay Pryor. So something tells me that this race is going to shake these points up even more than the last one did. So ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for that. Already we have some chase contenders who might be done for the evening. In this case, Tyler Homan and John Sterling, both with some heavy damage on their machines. And as we speak, they are still both on pit road, still getting some of that damage fixed. Or in this case, most of the damage fixed. And the race is still young, so yes, they should be able to get back out there and put down some more laps before the race ends. And a new viewer in the chat, that is Randall Bledsoe. Welcome back to the Online Sim Racing Network there, Randall. Hope you're doing well. Well, we are now back 1 to green, still being led by Hunter McDaniel with the help of Adam Eisenhower. The inside being led still by Greg Bradshaw with the help of Cody McFadden. We are going back green flag racing. So we had one take from one driver there, Randy Perdue. The setup starting off a little bit tight. I'm pretty sure it's going to loosen up for him once we cross that 15-lap mark of green flag racing. But off turn number 3, pace car dipping off. It is off. And the green flag is out, and Hunter gets a great restart, and so does 86 of Adamites right behind him. But the inside lane was caught sleeping, and so far Greg Bradshaw trying to outshift Eisenhower side by side on the front stretch. Bradshaw goes in way hard entering turn 1 and gets around Adam Eisenhower, who now falls in line between Bradshaw and McFadden. But nope, McFadden is under fire from 48 of Vollmer, side by side. Ladies and gentlemen, this track is 2.5 miles in length. That is 2.50 miles in length with 3 turns. And that means that the draft is very, very key, very, very important. So if you see, we're going to be seeing a lot of bump draft action taking place. And here, damaged machines do not propel whatsoever. So at short tracks, damaged machines are still as fast. But here, a little bit of damage is enough to get you out of the away from the pace completely. So here the drivers will try their best to make the best use out of this draft, and there is strength in numbers, especially here tonight at Pocono. Bobby Tinch is under fire from 99 of Whitson Jr., but he slams on those brakes and lets Whitson Jr. go. Bobby Tinch here trying to stay alive, trying to keep a distance between himself and everybody else around him, so he can be able to avoid trouble if trouble were to brew his way, or in front of him in this case. So very smart driving by Bobby Tinch as well, a chase contender. Second place battle up front between Greg Bradshaw and Adam Eisenhower. Greg Bradshaw on the outside, Eisenhower on the inside. The slingshot will be engaged by Bradshaw. Yes, it is, but still a drag race so far. Looks like Bradshaw has the top end on this race with a draft help from Hunter McDaniel before turn 2. And Bradshaw does end up falling short of the exit of turn 2, loses the spot to Adam Eisenhower, and now McFadden. One man's mistake is another man's benefit. One driver's mistake is another man's benefit. So in this case, these drivers just pretty much always hope for the worst for their opponents, and that always benefits them. And as we speak, 48 of Vollmer right now trying to go against the 74 of Greg Bradshaw. It did seem like a free lunch program, but not so much anymore. Whoa. Bradshaw has been checked up quite a bit. He ends up pushing wide, pushing tight. They're entering turn number 1, but still side by side somehow with 48 of Vollmer. And because they are side by side, 99 of Brian Whitson is catching them at a fast rate. Whitson thought about going 3 wide, but nope, he backs off and just stays high to assist 74 of Greg Bradshaw. And now Wally Tieheimer as well in the mix. Wally Tierheimer, Bobby Tinch, Bryce Whitson Jr. have found a roadblock of side-by-side between Vollmer and Bradshaw. They're trying their best to get past, to try and figure out which one's the fastest groove so far. But it's difficult to tell because they are still side-by-side. Oh, 48 of Vollmer gets loose entering turn 1 and pushes up the track 3 wide among Whitson Jr. and Vollmer. Actually, they back it down to double wide as 48 of Vollmer was able to fall back in line behind 74 of Greg Bradshaw and ahead of 99 of Whitson Jr. The Cars Jr. machine here, Wally Tierheimer coming out of nowhere, trying to poke his nose into these battles. And just watching the battle between 99 of Whitson and Curtis Vollmer. But now a new driver in the rear, the 1-3 of Gary Whitson. Gary Whitson goes to the inside of Wally Tierheimer here, entering turn number 2. And as we speak, oh, actually, yeah, that's turn number 1. And now behind them we have Bobby Tinch just trying his best to figure out which lane to use. But so far, Wally able to put his foot down at the floor of the exit of turn 1 and gets around 13 of Whitson for now. And now Wally going against 74 of Greg Bradshaw. Have noticed ever since the drop of the green flag, Greg has been dropping spots left and right. It seemed like hopefully he's able to stabilize the machine. Maybe he's going to the back on purpose, trying his best to just save his stuff. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the tires are very, very important. The tire fall-off is quite great at this track with this new build and this new paved track. So he is just trying to play it smart. And we have Martin Rondoletto. That is Martin Rondoletto in the chat. Welcome back, Martin. Hope you're doing well. Gary Whitson goes to the inside of Bradshaw and bump drafting 75 of Wally Tierheimer. He gives him a tap to life here before turn number 2. That's turn number 3. You need to get my turns right. But off the exit of turn number 3, both Wally and Whitson able to get around Greg Bradshaw successfully. And that bumps Bradshaw down to 8th. Oh, but look at that. We have Randy Perdue in the rear view of Bradshaw. Oh, Bradshaw gets loose entering turn 1, but saves it. Actually, yeah, it looks like he tapped the 13 of Whitson. And that did get him loose. That was a reverse hook. But nice save by both drivers. Further back in the pack, we have 05 of Tommy Amasi riding behind 61 of Jeffrey Gilliam. Will scratch that side by side. They'll go here on the back straightaway. And entering turn number 2. Tommy does tap the apron, has to back it down to avoid causing trouble. And that does shoot 61 of Gilliam back past him. And that does keep Gilliam up in 15th place. And Tommy Amasi still 16th. And the 24 of Octavio Rondoletto, that's Octavio Rondoletto, currently in that 14th place spot now behind the 8-0 of Jay Pryor. And good point, John. No turn 4, just 3 turns. The 24 of Rondoletto finds a big roadblock here. It has Mr. Highside himself, Ralph Vanderforst. It has Jay Pryor, it has Bobby Tinch, and 17 of Tommy Haynes. 24 goes to the inside of 68 of Vanderforst, and off the exit of turn number 3, one driver pulls off the track. That's 17 of Tommy Haynes going down pit road this time around. Tommy Haynes does not have a single scratch on his machine. And that tells me that might be a scheduled pit stop here on lap 27. And he only has 19 laps since his last pit stop. So that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is our first green flag pit stop of the evening by Tommy Haynes. Going back up front, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new race leader, 86 of Adam Eisenhower here currently in the lead and 2/10 of a second ahead of second place driver Hunter McDaniel. And third place is Cody McFadden, fourth place Bryce Whitson Jr. and Curtis Vollmer rounding up the top 5. And speaking of Curtis Vollmer, he's going against the 99 of Bryce Whitson Jr. on the front stretch, side by side. Oh man, yep, with these drivers having over 20 laps on their tires, most of them at least, because half the field did pit in the last caution, but half did stay out. So the half that stayed out are having difficulty already and having to lift extra early as well to try and avoid pushing up or getting loose depending on the conditions of their machines, because once again, these machines do act differently depending on the driver. But here Bryce goes back to the inside of Curtis Vollmer and gets around successfully here before the exit of turn 3. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a high momentum track. At the same time, I do believe that turn number 3 is the most important turn, because if you set up turn number 3 correctly, you will be able to make up a lot of time between turns number 1 and 3, which is the front stretch, the long front stretch. So the exit of turn number 3 is where you can make up a lot of time and spots, is what I'm trying to say. But for the back in the pack, 5 of Randy Perdue is getting challenged by the 74 of Greg Bradshaw. Perdue backs off and lets Bradshaw take back the 9th place spot away from him. And Randy just falls back in line behind Bradshaw. And caution flies on lap 29. Gonna see what happened.
Oh man, that's going to involve the 80 of Jay Pryor. As we take a look here, Jay Pryor on the outside, Octavio Rondoletto on the inside. Can't tell if it was contact, but man, unfortunately Rondoletto gets up in front of him. It might have been a little contact, but Jay Pryor into the outside. Jeffrey Gillum with a little bit of piece of the action. That is tough luck there for the 80 of Jay Pryor.
Oh, indeed. Oh man, yeah, he's gonna have to spend some time on pit road to get that damage fixed. And the positive side is the most damage is on the rear, and the front not so much. So if he keeps in the draft, he should be able to keep up quite well under green flag conditions. Going back up front, we are still being led by Adam Eisenhower, Hunter McDaniel 2nd, Cody McFadden 3rd, Bryce Whitson Jr. 4th, Curtis Vollmer 5th, Gary Whitson 6th, Wally Tierheimer 7th, Greg Bradshaw 8th, Randy Perdue 9th, and Bobby Tinch rounding up the top 10. And since these drivers have more than 20 laps on their tires, they will all be going down pit road, this time by full tanks of gas, 4 fresh stickers, and yes, Adam Eisenhower leading everybody down pit road, and they do follow. Joshua Gillen always stays out 1 extra lap. He just might do so. Yes, Joshua Gillen staying out this time. The race off pit road has been won by Hunter McDaniel. Cody McFadden comes out second. Bryce Whitson Jr. comes out third. Adam Eisenhower comes out fourth. In the fifth place driver off pit road is 48 of Curtis Vollmer. So it looks like, unfortunately, Adam Eisenhower lost 3 spots on pit road. Actually, yeah, 3 spots on pit road, unfortunately. So that pushes him from the lead to the 4th place spot. Looking at his pit time, Adam actually had a 14.1 second pit stop. Same with Hunter McDaniel. So I'm surprised he actually lost that many spots, having the exact same pit time, actually quicker than most of the other drivers who did beat him off pit road, including McFadden and Bryce Whitson.
He actually overdrove his pit stall and had to back up there, Sean.
Oh, copy that. Thank you very much. Oh man, unfortunate for Adam Eisenhower. Yeah, just that one mistake, ladies and gentlemen, could be very costly. And ladies and gentlemen, this gives us time for a race interview. Let's focus on the 05 of Tommy Amasi. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're joined up in the booth by the 05 of Tommy Amasi. Come up there, Tommy.
Hey, guys. Hey, y'all doing all right?
Yeah, how are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm here enjoying the race, man. Having a good time. This is fun.
Oh, very, very glad to hear about that, Tommy. I just noticed you've just been keeping a low profile as usual, like you've done with every single race before the halfway mark. But how's been your experience this far this season, man? You've been able to get yourself in the chase.
Yeah, I think I did make the chase, you know, and just had a couple bad races at the beginning of the chase races. But, you know, I'll see how I end up. I'm not going to finish up real high, but, hey, every spot counts.
Oh, don't worry, Tommy. You're currently in the 18th place spot. And before you know it, you will be 17 spots higher. And what went into preparing for tonight's race on your part?
Well, I'm going to switch over to fuel mileage. I'm gonna actually pit in here with 2 to go, top it off, and see how it plays out for me.
Oh, 10-4. And also, Tommy, you guys just had an over 15 lap run on your machines, on your tires in this case. And what did you find different from the old build?
The grip is much better. The cars, actually, the trucks handle really good. I like to be able to come out of the corners. You can actually give it a little bit more acceleration, and it holds the track much greater than it used to.
Oh, 10-4, Tommy. Very glad to hear that. Well, man, we're glad that the machine is doing well tonight, and we look forward to seeing you 17 spots higher. You're doing an amazing job this far. Make us proud.
Okay, thank you.
That was the 05 of Tommy Amasi going down pit road on a fuel conservation mode, fuel strategy mode in this case. But going back up front, we are being led by a new leader, 17 of Tommy Haynes. Did not notice he stayed out, but yes, Tommy Haynes did stay out, and that was because, if you remember correctly, he was on pit road with 29 laps in, and he was the first and only driver with a green flag pit stop, and now he is the new leader. But this gives him 4 laps more on his tires compared to everybody else on the racing surface. So he most likely will not notice any differences for the first couple of laps. But if we end up going green for more than, more than 8 to 10 laps, maybe then the tire difference will start to show in Haynes' machine's handling. But we are being led by Haynes with the help of McFadden. Outside lane being led by Hunter McDaniel with the help of Bryce Whitson Jr. We are going green. Oh, and no problem there, John. Once we go green, I will go over the chase drivers one more time. No problem. Exiting turn number 3, sorry. My apologies there, John. Pace car is off. Green flag is out, and Haynes finds the pedal. He gets a great restart against the rest of the field, and so far bump draft action, 3-track push on the outside among Hunter McDaniel, Bryce Whitson Jr. and Curtis Vollmer, as the 64 McFadden goes against 48 of Vollmer before turn number 1. Oh, a big checkup up front here behind 17 of Tommy Haynes. 57 after McDaniel goes to the inside to try and make a pass, but not enough to make it stick just yet. But he's being pushed by 99 of Whitson Jr. And Hunter going for the race lead against Tommy Haynes. 3 wide. We have 48 of Vollmer going to the inside of McDaniel and 17 of Haynes. They're gonna make it stick. McDaniel goes to the middle. He pushes to the inside to give enough room to 17 of Haynes. They make it stick. Back down, double wide. Oh man, nice driving by the drivers. And that gives the new lead to the 48 of Curtis Vollmer, new race leader. And 99 of Whitson trying to go 3 wide as well. Nope, he gets his nose chopped off by Hunter McDaniel before turn 1. And this hard racing, ladies and gentlemen, is due to these drivers having less than 5 laps on these new stickers. The first 5 laps of every run is when you see the most racing, because that's when the grip is at its maximum. And these drivers trying to take advantage of that. But 17 of Tommy Haynes tops the wall off the exit of turn number 2. But Tommy Haynes has been losing spots left and right, unfortunately. So it looks like, unfortunately, the difference of 4 tires is quite great. But I should say the difference on 4 laps is quite great, is what I was trying to say. But just a recap of the drivers who are still in this chase, ladies and gentlemen. Gary B. Whitson, Hunter McDaniel, Jay Pryor, Randy Perdue, Joshua Gillen, Bryce Whitson Jr., Curtis Vollmer, Scott Mitten, Greg Bradshaw, John Sterling, Tyler Harmon, Gary Woobot, Bobby Tinch, including Tommy Emasi. But the drivers who are still in the chase and who are still in tonight's race include Bobby Tinch, Greg Bradshaw, Scott Mitten, Curtis Vollmer, Bryce Whitson Jr., Joshua Gillen, Randy Perdue, Hunter McDaniel, and Gary B. Whitson, including Tommy Emasi. And also, not to forget the 15 of Gary Woobot, despite his heavy damages, still been able to stay on the lead lap and is still trucking as we speak, currently in the 18th place spot behind David Elliott. But a status check on our other 2 chase drivers, chase contenders, Tyler Harmon and John Sterling. They are still on pit road, getting damage fixed, but looks like actually Jay Pryor is back on the racing surface, still on the lead lap, this time with 37 laps in. We have the 5-0 of Scott Mitten. Scott Mitten so far tonight has been keeping a low profile, but now is charging towards the front. He did start in the 25th place spot and now currently 13th behind Mr. High Side himself, Ralph Vanderforce. But Mitten is under fire from the 24 of Octavio Rondoletto right behind on the exit of 3. And Octavio Rondoletto as well has been a heck of a driver this season. Also a new addition this season, season number 10 with the Extreme Motorsports Truck Series. And just same with the 88 of John Sterling. And here as we speak, Octavio gets around the 5-0 of Scott Mitten. And now his next victim is 68 of Ralph Vanderforst for the 12th place spot. And Travis Pryor in the chat. Welcome back, Travis. It's very sad to see your night end that way, man. But it's good to see you coming back week after week to do some damage. In terms of competition, that is. 5 of Randy Purdue going against Bobby Tinch for the top 10. Bobby Tinch on the outside and Purdue on the inside. He gets around him successfully. Bobby Tinch lets off the gas. Looks like his machine's getting loose. Yep, Bobby Tinch was quite squirrely between turn number 1 there. So he just let the 5 of Purdue by. And he does save his machine to fight for the rest of the race. So nice save by Tinch, getting mighty loose already. He was 39 laps in with only 9 laps on his tires this far. But he charges all over the back bumper of Purdue again before turn 2. Before turn 3. That's right, Pat. I'm just kidding, Travis. I'm just kidding. And up front, Cody McFadden is going at it with 48 of Curtis Vollmer. But looks like McFadden was able to maintain the second place spot against Vollmer. But the more these two drivers battle, the more they lose time to the race leader up front, Hunter McDaniel. And now Hunter is 1.1 seconds ahead of McFadden and Vollmer. And during the first long run we had, before the last caution, I noticed that McFadden did end up falling off the pace a little bit during that run. So maybe he might have had that long run machine, that long run figured out by now. Because here with 11 laps on their tanks and tires, he's doing quite well. And a new viewer tuning into the chat, welcome to the Online Sim Racing Network there, The Man. We're doing well tonight. The Man, that's a good name, I like it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with 41 laps in and 70 laps remaining, we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break of the evening. We'll be right back, so please stay tuned.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Overtons 150. That's the Overtons 150 Chase Race 3 of 5, Season 10, Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Track Series, brought to you by the AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. That's AdvancedSimulationProducts.com, specializing in custom button boxes. So check them out at AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. But going back to the race, we are under caution. Just now happened. I'm gonna see if we can catch it on replay and see what happened.
That is going to be a single car spin. That's going to be the 05 Tommy Massey. It looks like he just lost it. Got sideways coming out of turn 2. Got into the almost into the outside wall. Tried to correct. End up sliding down to the inside wall. So just a single truck accident.
Oh man, and that right there, too, ladies and gentlemen, it goes back to what we talked about with about 15 laps. These machines start acting up. In the case of Tommy Massey, he was 16 laps on his run, and that machine just snapped, caught him off guard, unfortunately. So hopefully his machine, hopefully he's able to get most of the damage fixed and get back out there and put down some more laps. But going back up front, we are being led by Hunter McDaniel still, with the help of McFadden in second place, Curtis Vollmer third, Adam Eisenhower fourth, and Gary B. Whitson fifth. And with 16 laps on this run, they should all be going down pit road. And ladies and gentlemen, I was going to talk about the Extreme Motorsports 99.com. The Oval Series is ending in about 2 weeks from now, which means the Pro K&N Series on Monday nights, the Track Series on Tuesday nights, and the Xfinity Series on Wednesday nights. So those 3 series, they're all ending. The seasons are coming to an end in the next 2 weeks, which means the signups are opening for those of you who would like to be a part of the action, meaning you'd like to become a driver of the Extreme Motorsports 99.com. So check them out at their website, extrememotorsports99.com. Drop the first E in Extreme and start with the X, extrememotorsports99.com. Well, here on pit road, we were led by the leader McDaniel, but off the exit of pit road, a race between the 2 drivers, and McDaniel loses the race to the 64 of McFadden. So he comes out second, Vollmer third, Adam Eisenhower fourth, and Gary Whitson rounding up the top 5. And going back to the Extreme Motorsports, ladies and gentlemen, they do have a lot more than just oval racing. They have a road series as well. So you guys can join any of those based on preference or experience. And also an upcoming dirt series you guys can join in the near future. So once again, extrememotorsports99.com. And behind the pace car, we have Nick Hunt and Tyler Hallman. Nick Hunt and Tyler Hallman back from the dead. They were on pit road for the last 20 to 25 laps. But now they are back. We are glad that their pit crews were able to get those machines back to life. So they'll be back here and put down some more laps. So both drivers gonna get one lap back once we go one to green the next time around. But this gives us time for a race interview. Let's focus on 17 of Tommy Haynes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're joined up in the booth by 17 of Tommy Haynes. Get go up there, Tommy.
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Trying to get to the front here.
Oh, indeed you are. We noticed there you were the only driver who had performed a green flag pit stop tonight. But how's the race going this far?
It's going pretty good. I didn't get no practice and I got in late, so I'm just trying to get used to this here, and it's going pretty good though. I feel like I got a top 10 truck here.
Oh, without a doubt, Tommy. And how are you liking the new paved track at the same time the new build combination?
To me, it's got a lot of grip right now. So truck ain't been sliding around or nothing. So, but right now, like I said, it's got plenty of grip.
Oh, 10-4. Now, so going back to what we talked about, you being the only driver to have performed a green flag pit stop, and shortly after that, you ended up having a caution, and you did take over the race lead and had 4 laps more on your tires compared to the rest of the whole entire field. How did you feel that affected your machine, if any?
I gave up a few spots on the start there, but there as the run kept going, I started reeling them back in. So I've been taking care of my tires pretty good, though, so hopefully we'll see what happens here.
Oh, copy that, man. Well, you do have a top 10 truck, like you said. We look forward to seeing you 8 spots higher on lap 110. Make us proud.
10-4, thank you, bud.
That was the 17 of Tommy Haynes, currently in the 9th place position, and he too is a chase contender. And we'll be trying to bring this thing home. Actually, I apologize, he's not a chase contender, but he is still a fast driver going at it tonight for the win, despite without that. But he's starting behind 75 of Wally Tierheimer, but up front we are being led by Bryce Whitson Jr. with the help of Curtis Vollmer. Inside being led by Cody McFadden with the help of 57 of Hunter McDaniel. And I've noticed that all leaders are deciding to start on the outside. So it looks like the outside lane is the place to be on a start or restart. Exiting turn 3, going green, the pace car is off. Green flag is out, and Bryce Whitson wastes no time whatsoever. He gets a commanding restart against McFadden and McDaniel, including 48 of Vollmer. And now McDaniel is a helping hand, a helping bumper to McFadden, who was caught sleeping on the restart of the exit before turn number 1, though McDaniel backs off to give 64 McFadden room, as 48 of Vollmer is side by side with McDaniel before turn number 1 on the exit of 1. Oh, up front, McFadden now going against the race leader, Bryce Whitson, side by side, entering turn number 2. Oh, McFadden does top the apron, but somehow still able to maintain most of his momentum, but still lost enough momentum to Bryce Whitson, who does lead a big nose entering turn 3, but McFadden drives it in deeper and harder, and as a result of that, a drag race will exist on the front stretch. Slingshot was engaged by Bryce Whitson against McFadden, who was able to lead a slight nose to maintain that race lead. And 58, 57, we had to McDonough right behind, just watching this battle. At the same time, he's bringing in a lot more drivers, Adam Eisenhower and Vollmer included, and 13 of Whitson. Oh, actually, we have 13 of Whitson, Wally Tieheimer, Randy Perdue, and 17 of Tommy Haynes, all creeping up on the race leaders as we speak. McFadden still trying to fight Bryce Whitson Jr. here on the inside lane, which is not the preferred race groove because he is bringing up his stuff more than Bryce Whitson is on the outside lane. But McFadden still determined, and off the exit of turn number 3, they still stay side by side drag racing. And Bryce maintains the race. Actually, that was a tie for the race lead. Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, both drivers are working overtime, McFadden and Whitson Jr. With that said, once these drivers end up going single file, it won't be too long after that before McDaniel, Eisenhower, Vollmer, Tieheimer, Whitson, and Perdue end up pouncing on them due to them having better tires than those two who are battling. And ladies and gentlemen, the crew chief to the 17 of Tommy Haynes, that is John T. Wimbich. Welcome back, John T. Wimbich. Hope you're doing well tonight. Or trying a different strategy? Yeah, glad you guys were able to still do an amazing job position-wise. Oh man, they're up front, almost had some contacts between McDaniel and McFadden, but no harm done. And McFadden is able to take that race lead away from Bryce Whitson Jr. And now McDaniel 3rd place, Adam Eisenhower 4th, Curtis Vollmer 5th, rounding up the top 5. And going back to 17 of Tommy Haynes, ladies and gentlemen, he has the combination he needs. He has a very, very fast machine. At the same time, he knows exactly what he's doing when it comes to saving tires. Those two things are very important. McDaniel goes all the way to the inside to get around Bryce Whitson. They're gonna stay side by side on the front stretch, entering turn number 1. Yeah, the more these guys battle, the more McFadden pulls away. At the same time, the more the back of the pack catches up to them. And for the back in the pack, 68 of Ralph Vanderforst, Mr. Highside himself, going against 24 of Rondoletto, side by side off the exit of the turn. Looks like Rondoletto gets around Vanderforst, and that bumps the 24 Rondoletto up to 11th place, and Ralph down to 12th. And now ahead of the 4-0 of Joshua Gillen, who's right behind him. 4-0, Joshua Gillen applying some serious pressure to the rear end of Mr. Highside Vanderforst. Vanderforst still being able to somehow keep his cool as he drafts off 24 Rondoletto here on the front stretch, actually the back stretch, between turn number 1 and 2. But up front, second place battle continues between Bryce Whitson and Hunter McDaniel. But they end up going back single file, but right behind them, 86 of Eisenhower on the outside of 48 of Curtis Vollmer side by side. Just had some bump draft action there between McDaniel and Eisenhower. But here between turn number 1, I was almost said that turns number 1 and 2, but only turn number 1, 48 of Vollmer able to edge out Eisenhower, but the slingshot kicked back in. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we just crossed the halfway mark. We are halfway. And because of all those battles that were going on in the top 5, the leader up front, McFadden, was able to pull away to a 1.1 second lead against second place driver Bryce Woodson Jr. $75 of Wally Tierheimer. Here currently behind the 5 of Randy Perdue and ahead of 66 of Bobby Tinch. So far, Wally in between 2 chase drivers. That's Perdue and Bobby Tinch. I haven't seen much of Wally Tierheimer this season in the track series, but he is quite active in the Xfinity series. And I should admit, drivers like Wally have come a very, very long way. They used to be rear pack runners, rear pack runners, but now he is a front runner, strictly front runner, not even mid pack, just front runner. He's come a very long way. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being a part of the action here with the Extreme Motorsports series. With every single season, we've been able to see a lot of these drivers. Actually, all these drivers progress. They've been able to grow. A lot of drivers who were rear pack runners have become mid pack runners. Some have gone from rear pack to front runners, and just pretty much all throughout the field at the same time. That means the competition gets nothing but stronger with every single season as a result of that. And Bobby Tinch getting challenged by 17 of Tommy Haynes. Tommy Haynes gets around him, and that bumps Tinch down to 10th. And side by side between the 4-0 of Joshua Gillen and 24 of Octavio Rondoletto, lets 40 of Gillen by, and that bumps Octavio down to the 13th place spot. And tonight I haven't spoken much of the 42 of David Elliott, if any, but he's been keeping a low profile. He sustained some left rear damage on the 42 machine, but he has still been trucking and currently behind the 4-0 of Joshua Gillen for 13th. Oh, and another driver back from the dead. It's good to have him back. 88 of John Sterling, back on the racing surface on the exact same lap as his chase opponent, 77 of Tyler Homan. Both drivers 26 laps down, and they are trying to catch each other. I can't quite tell how far apart they are at the moment. And in the case of John Sterling is in luck. He is getting some serious draft help from both Scott Mitten and Scott Brooks. So in this case, Scott Brooks is pushing while Mitten is pulling. Oh, actually looks like Sterling goes to the inside of Mitten, side by side. This is very, very surprising because the 88 of Sterling's machine is beat up, but Mitten not a single scratch on that beast, but getting overtaken by a damaged machine. So it looks like there the 88 of Sterling, his machine is actually way better than we thought. And going back to 13th place, we have 42 David Elliott, 40 Josh Gillen, and 66 of Bobby Ting so far in a pack of their own, pulling on 24 of Rondoletto. And so far here we have 42 of Elliott watching the battle between Bobby Tinch and 40 of Gillen as we speak. Oh, 42 of Elliott smacks the wall and loses some speed and momentum, but still able to get around the 40 of Joshua Gillen off the exit of turn number 3. And now drafting off the 66 of Bobby Tinch. And Greg Bradshaw coming out of nowhere, trying to get towards the front. He was the post hitter tonight. He had the fastest machine in qualifying, and now currently in the 14th place spot behind 40 of Josh Gillen, trying his best to get around Josh Gillen and Bobby Tinch at the same time. He has to check up though, a big roadblock by the two. Bradshaw drag racing against 66 of Bobby Tinch, who does get a good slingshot off turn 3 and leads quite the nose with the help of a push from the rear from 24 of Rondoletto. Going a little bit up front, some battles going on here. A cluster. It has 5 Randy Perdue, 13 of Gary B. Whitson, Curtis Vollmer, and 86 of Adam Eisenhower in a cluster. Perdue does back off to fall back in line on the outside behind 13 of Gary Whitson. And so far, the odd man out in this case so far seems to be the 48 of Vollmer on the inside. Looks like he's able to hold off the 13 of Whitson for now off turn 3. These drivers at this point, ladies and gentlemen, have had over 18 laps on their tires and tanks, which means this is when they're feeling the effects of those tires. So they're all just trying to be cautious. 00 of Nick Hunt on the apron this far here, exiting turn number 1. His machine is back to life as well. Good to see him back. But going back up front, our leader is now 1.8 seconds ahead of second place driver. First of all, our leader is 64 of Cody McFadden. Second place driver is Hunter McDaniel. And a 1.8 second gap does exist between the two. And speaking of watching drivers grow and become better, Cody McFadden was one of the drivers who early on in the previous season, struggled in the long run, but he's become very, very unstoppable and unbeatable in the long run. This far, it's been amazing watching him grow as well. Our first green flag pit stop taking place this far in the 94, Scott Brooks. Scott Brooks on pit road as we speak. Well, maybe not a green flag pit stop. That might have not been scheduled. Yeah, he sustained some damage prior to going down pit road, unfortunately. So, yep, that was not a scheduled pit stop. But a scheduled pit stop up front, Bryce Whitson on pit road, Wally Tiaheimer, Ralph Vanderforce pitting in with 19 laps on their tires. Joshua Gillen right behind, including Octavio Rondoletto pitting in. So these guys going on down pit road with 19 to 22 laps on their tanks and tires. After this, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to need one more pit stop for them to be able to make it the rest of the way. But up front, the leader, Cody McFadden, has now increased his lead from 1.8 seconds to 2.1 seconds against second place driver Hunter McDaniel, and he's deciding to stay out a lot longer, and now coming up to 22 laps on his tires and tank. Before too long, Gary B. Whitson going down pit road as we speak. Going for the back in the pack, we have the 48 of Vollmer going down pit road this time around, with also 21 laps on his tires and tank. And for the back as well, Jeffrey Gillum and Bobby Tinch so far. Actually, Bobby Tinch did peel off. They were battling, but he did peel off. He's now going down pit road as well, right behind Curtis Vollmer. One, two of Brandon Ketchum as well, going down pit road as we speak. And accompanied by Gary Woolbot. Third place, we have the 86 of Adam Eisenhower being challenged by 00 of Nick Hunt. I should admit, these damaged machines are doing quite well, despite their heavy damage, and so far, 77 of Tyler Hallman drafting off the 86 of Adam Eisenhower. He should get a good run against him, and also just keeping in mind that the difference on tires is quite great among these damaged machines and, for example, 86 of Eisenhower. So they are able to keep up with him for the most part. The leader up front, or the previous race leader, gives up the race lead to go down pit road, McFadden, with also 17 of Tommy Haynes down pit road, and a new race leader, 57 Hunter McDaniel, this time around. And Jay Pryor pitting in this time around. So now the only drivers who still need to pit in include Hunter McDaniel, Adam Eisenhower, Greg Bradshaw. Actually, some just pitted in, so Randy Purdy on pit road, Greg Bradshaw on pit road, David Elliott and Jeffrey Gillum all down pit road, including John Sterling. So now only 4 drivers left to pit in. That includes Hunter McDaniel, Adam Eisenhower, Scott Mitten, and Tommy Amasi. The only 4 left to pit in. And Hunter McDaniel gives up the race lead to go down pit road this time with 24 laps on his tank, accompanied by the 86 of Adam Eisenhower. And now just 2 drivers left to pit in, Scott Mitten and Tommy Amasi. Scott Mitten seems to be slowing down as we speak. Nope, looks like he's going around one more time. And that gives him now 24 laps on his tires, but Tommy Amasi pitting in. So just 1 driver left to pit in. And we saw it to the last race we had, Chase Race 2 of 5 at Chicagoland Speedway for the Samson Motorsports 128. Scott Mitten did stay out the longest during the final round of pit stops, and unfortunately he lost a lot of time as a result. He was hoping for a caution, but that didn't work out too well, so hopefully that does not end up happening again here tonight. He's now coming up to once again 24 laps on his tank. Oh, the caution flies. This might be a good thing for Scott Mitten. Gonna see what happened.
If you look at the replay, this is going to involve Rob Vanderhorst and Hunter McDaniel. Hunter McDaniel going around. Unfortunate contact there between those two, because they were battling side by side through turn 2, and that is now our fifth caution of the night.
Oh man, yeah, that was unfortunate indeed for the driver involved in that. And yeah, this is gonna shake things up quite a bit. It's gonna get everybody bunched up. So it might be a good, most likely it's a good thing. It's gonna get everybody bunched back up again. But I don't think it's a good thing for Cody McFadden and Bryce Whitson Jr., including Hunter McDaniel, who are doing an amazing job under green flag conditions. They were leading quite well. So I'm pretty sure they're not very happy to see this caution come out. But going back up front, we are being led by Bryce Whitson Jr. Scott Mitten just left pit road. Curtis Vollmer third. Gary Whitson fourth. And Wally Tierheimer rounding up the top 5. So 39 laps left in tonight's race, but keep in mind, still one more required pit stop. That's one more required pit stop. Leaders up front going down one more time. Actually, everybody pitting in. Except for Scott, he has no reason to pit in. He just left pit road not too long ago. But the driver who had the fastest pit stop during the green flag condition was the 24 of Octavio Rondoletto. That's Octavio Rondoletto. Means tongue twister for me. I apologize, the 24. But he had a 13.2 second pit stop, followed by Bryce Whitson, who had a 13.7 second pit stop. Great pit stops. Great pit times. Oh, Pat T, sorry about that. Bad storms in the area. Stay safe, Pat. Stay safe. Oh, a new race leader. This 42 of David Elliott. David Elliott in the lead. Second place is Adam Eisenhower. Third place, Scott Mitten. Hunter McDaniel fourth, and Bryce Whitson Jr. rounding up the top 5. And this gives us time for a race interview. Let's focus on 61 of Jeffrey Gillum. Oh, unfortunately, wasn't able to get a hold of the 61 of Jeffrey Gillum. This time, we're going to keep trying before the race is over. Well, we have a new race leader, 86 of Adam Eisenhower, leading his first lap here on lap 74. Bryce Whitson Jr. second, Gary B. Whitson third, David Elliott fourth, and Greg Bradshaw rounding up the top 5. Actually, in this case, David Elliott gave up the third place spot to go down pit road. So Adam Eisenhower first, Bryce Whitson Jr. third, Gary Whitson. Oh, actually, sorry. Adam Eisenhower is in the lead. Bryce Whitson second, Gary Whitson third, Greg Bradshaw fourth, and Curtis Vollmer rounding up the top 5. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, the drivers now know the limits of these machines. They were able to get used to the handling of the machines with every single lap. The changing handling, that is. So with that said, at this point, it just might be go time for a lot of them. Or it has been go time since the drop of the green flag for a lot of the chase contenders. So at this point here, this race, ladies and gentlemen, last race at Chicagoland, a lot of these drivers were had a bad race, including Hunter McDaniel, Gary Whitson, and Bryce Whitson, including Travis and Jay Pryor. So they're trying their best to make up for that race in this race at Pocono. And we are now back 1 to green, still being led by Adam Eisenhower with the help of Gary B. Whitson. Outside lane being led by Bryce Whitson Jr. with the help of Greg Bradshaw. We are going green, and I should admit this is the first time I've seen a leader decide to start on the inside. And so far, our heaviest mover here in tonight's race. Actually, one of the heaviest movers include the 4-0 of Joshua Gillen from 23rd place to 7th, Jeffrey Gillen from 22nd to 10th, Tommy Haynes from 21st to 11th currently, Gary Wubot from 20th to 14th, and Octavio Rondoletto from dead last, 27th place to 15th this far. Also not forgetting the 42 of David Elliott from 27th to 17th. Exiting turn 3, pace car dips off. Green flag is out, and Adam finds the pedal, gets a great restart against Bryce Whitson Jr. And Bryce trying to play catch up as he gets outshifted by 13 of Gary Whitson, his teammate, on the inside. And so far, side by side, they go before turn number 1, and right behind Greg Bradshaw, 48 of Vollmer as well, side by side. But Bradshaw drifts way too wide, way too high, and loses some time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Green flag racing, lap 76 with 35 laps remaining. Gonna take another commercial break this time around. We'll be right back, so please stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Overtons 150. That's the Overtons 150 Chase Race 3 of 5, Season 10, Extreme Motorsports99.com Camping Road Track Series, brought to you by AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. That's AdvancedSimulationProducts.com, specializing in custom button boxes. But going back to the race, just had a caution right there. Gonna try and catch that and see what happened, if we can.
That's the 94 Scott Brooks coming out of turn number 1, got into the outside wall, shot all the way down straight into the inside wall, back out on the track, bringing out our 6th caution of the night.
Oh, very unfortunate indeed for Scott Brooks. Yeah, now some heavy smoke from the rear end of that machine, and as a result he is on pit road getting that damage fixed. But going back to the Extreme Motorsports99.com, they are sponsored by the AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. That's AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. That's where you get custom button boxes, so check them out. But going back to the race, we are being led by Adam Eisenhower, Gary Whitson 2nd, Bryce Whitson Jr. 3rd, Greg Branshaw 4th, and Curtis Vollmer in the 5th place spot. And we have 28 laps left in tonight's race. If these drivers pit in this caution and saves a little bit of gas, they should be able to make it the rest of the way, because the most I saw drivers go on a tank was at 24 laps. If that is the maximum they can go, which in this case, let's assume that is the most they can go, they will not be able to make it the rest of the way. They just might end up being 1 to 2 laps short, so it's going to end up becoming a fuel conservation race. But yep, Adam the leader leads everybody down pit road, and they do follow. And we do have a lucky dog. 42 of David Elliott gets his lap back. It is now back on the lead lap. Congrats to 42 of David Elliott. And the race off pit road was won by the driver who led entering pit road, and that is our current race leader, Adam Eisenhower. Right behind him is Gary Whitson, Bryce Whitson Jr. third, Wally Tierheimer fourth, gaining 2 spots on pit road, and Greg Bradshaw fifth, rounding up top 5. And under this caution, the driver who had the fastest pit stop was the leader. Yes, the leader, Adam Eisenhower, having a 13.6 second pit stop, followed by Randy Perdue with 13.7 seconds spent on pit road, and followed by a tie, actually a tie of Randy Perdue and Tommy Haynes, both 13.7 seconds. Also another tie with second and third place drivers, the teammates actually, Gary Whitson and Bryce Whitson Jr. with 13.9 seconds. And some bad news, we have lost Scott Brooks for the evening. We look forward to seeing Scott Brooks back for Chase Race 4 of 5 next week, the LTI Printing 200 at Michigan. And Michigan is an amazing track as well. It is very bumpy though, and very flat at the same time, which makes it a driver's track. And a new race leader officially, we have Brandon Ketchum, the new race leader. He does have 11 laps more on his tires compared to the rest of the field. So he has 13 laps on his tires, and everybody else has just 2 laps since they just put it in. Well, we'll be going green, I believe, with about 23 to 24 laps remaining. And that still means the drivers might end up being 1 to 2 laps short on gas. So once we go back green flag racing, they will end up having to come down pit road for a splash and go. And that means no tires, just gas. And off pit road they'll go. But if a caution does end up coming out, they should be able to save under that caution if it comes out in order to be able to make it the rest of the way. So we're going to see what happens. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to Michigan International next week, followed by the race of the crown, the race of the championship, which will be Homestead Miami Speedway as usual for Chase Race 5 of 5. So next week's race is entitled the LTI Printing 200 at Michigan International Speedway, and the final race is the Advanced Simulation Products. That's Advanced Simulation Products 145 at Homestead Miami Speedway for 145 laps. Going back up front with the whole entire field either clutching their machines in or shutting them off completely, saving gas. We are being led by Brandon Ketchum with the help of Gary B. Whitson. Outside lane being led by Adam Eisenhower with the help of Bryce Whitson Jr. From experience, ladies and gentlemen, having a 10 lap or more difference on tires compared to the rest of the field has never ever ended well. So fingers crossed for Brandon Ketchum and the pack of hungry lions right behind him. Exiting turn 3 at 24 lap shootout coming up. Pace car is off and the green flag is out, and 12 of Ketchum finds the pedal and gets a good enough restart against 86 of Adam, but he backs off, he goes to the apron to let the drivers on newer tires by, and he goes from hero to zero really quickly on purpose, so they can stay out of their way. But up front, the new leader is now Adam Eisenhower, being challenged by 99 of Whitson Jr. off turn 1. Actually, the battle has been passed on to the two teammates, Bryce Whitson Jr. and Gary Whitson, going at it. They were side by side, but back down single file, but still side by side between Greg Bradshaw and Gary B. Whitson. And remember, once again, ladies and gentlemen, the first 5 laps on a run is the hardest. We're going to be seeing these drivers run on that during that run. That's when they have the most grip, they can push the machines the most. And as we speak, Wally Tierheimer trying his best to get around both Greg Bradshaw and 13 of Gary Whitson, but so far nowhere to go, and just falls back in line and just rides behind them. Wildly applying some serious pressure to the rear end of Whitson off turn number 1, though Whitson able to get a better run off that turn, and Wiley's lost a little bit of time to him. At the same time, that does reel in the 48 of Vollmer on the rear of Wiley. Cody McFadden in the 8th place spot, going at it with the 40 of Joshua Gillen. Joshua on the outside, McFadden on the inside, and now McFadden being accompanied by the 5 of Purdue right behind. And on the front stretch, Randy Purdue is a helping hand, a helping bumper to Cody McFadden against the 4-0 of Gillen. Side by side still going on between McFadden and Joshua Gillen, but they are losing a lot of time with every single lap against the front of the pack. Then right behind, 5 of Purdue gets overtaken by 17 of Tommy Haynes. And Tommy Haynes now has his eyes on 4-0 of Joshua Gillen, who as well just lost the spot to the 64 of McFadden as we spoke. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been go time. It is go time. At this point, it is a 0% give to a 100% take. Well, for some, it might not just yet, but it is maybe I should say 20% give and 80% take. Scott Mitten coming from the back of the pack, trying to work his way towards the front of the pack. So far going against 24 Rondoletto, gets around him for the 14th place spot, and now right behind 61 of Jeffrey Gillum. And so far, Scott stays high. He pushes way too wide, though. And that does allow 24 Rondoletto to look to his inside again. And side by side they'll go. Yeah, the exit of off turn 3 by Mitten was not too great. Not good enough, unfortunately. And that did cost him some time against 61 of Jeffrey Gillum as well. They end up switching lanes, Mitten to the inside, 24 of Octavia to the outside, and side by side still. And Octavia just might have him before turn 2. Slingshot by Octavio off the exit of 2 and clears Scott Mitten successfully before turn 3, and that secures them in 14th and 15th respectively. 66 of Bobby Tinch so far, drafting off the 5, who in turn is drafting off 68 of Ralph Vanderforst, Mr. High Side himself. Ralph Vanderforst has kept a low profile here in tonight's race, just pretty much has been buying his time, but now might have to find 5th gear here before too long off the exit of turn 1, though Bobby Tinch goes to the inside of 5 of Purdue, who was pushing tight. And that does force Bobby to lift a little bit to avoid causing trouble to his machine. And they end up going single file. .48 of Curtis Vollmer applying some pressure to the rear end of Wally Tierheimer in the 5th and 6th place spots. And so far behind Curtis as well, we have a motor roaring. It's 12 of Ketchum out of nowhere. Actually, 12 of Ketchum, I believe, is a lap down now. Oh yeah, unfortunately, Ketchum just went 1 lap down as we spoke. But going back up front, our leader Adam Eisenhower has a 3/10 of a second lead against second place driver Bryce Whitson Jr. But Bryce does still have him in his sights. He is still in his draft range, so Adam is not going anywhere anytime soon. And they are catching up to some slower traffic, some lapped traffic. That is Nick Hunt and Tyler Holman. And a new viewer in the chat. Welcome to the Online Sim Racing Network there, Mouty. Hope you're doing well tonight. And second place driver Bryce Whitson does catch the 86 of Adam Eisenhower here in less than a lap. So here before too long, he most likely at this point they have 2 options. They could either, start working together, bump drafting on the straight stretches, or they could battle it out, burn up their stuff, and end up causing the back of the pack to catch up. Either we're gonna see exactly how things play out. 17 laps left. For the back in the pack, Bobby Tinch under fire from 61 of Jeffrey Gillum. They're going to go side by side. Bobby on the outside, Gillum on the inside. Henry in turn 1. Bobby's a little bit loose. I've been noticing he's been a little bit loose on the outside lane, actually middle lane in turn number 1. But so far he's able to get a power move off the exit of turn 1 with some bump draft assistance from 24 of Rondoletto. And Rondoletto being pushed by 5-0 of Scott Mitten, who just topped the wall and sustained some right front damage on that machine, and now trying to hold off 61 of Jeffrey Gillum as we speak. Uh-oh, some drivers going down for a splash and go. 3 drivers, Wally Tierheimer, Joshua Gillum, Octavio Rondoletto, Gary Woobot, all down pit road. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, these drivers are only 1 to 2 laps short on gas, which means a splash and go should be enough, which means less gas and less time spent on pit road and more time spent on the racing surface. But with 15 laps to go, something tells me some drivers might end up taking some tires because the tire wear is quite bad. The tire fall off is not the best. Looking at it right now, only 3 of the 4 drivers took no tires, and that was Gary Woobot taking no tires and just gas. He spent 4.9 seconds on pit road. Wally Tierheimer, Joshua Gillen, and Octavio Rondoletto spent more than 13 seconds on pit road, which is enough to take 4 tires. But 2 more drivers on pit road, David Elliott and Bryce Whitson Jr. And Bryce Whitson leaves pit road with an 11.1 second pit stop. I'm actually not quite sure if he took 4 tires or not. Actually, he took 2 tires with a full tank of gas. Oh, actually, he made a mistake. 2 entering pit road. He actually missed his pit stall and had to back up. Lost a little bit of time there, but not too much. And more drivers on pit road. Curtis Vollmer, Cody McFadden, Tommy Haynes, Ralph Vanderforst, Bobby Tinch, and Scott Mitten all down pit road. So this race has come down to fuel conservation, actually fuel strategy in this case, because now they don't need to save any more gas, because the ones who pitted in can be able to make it the rest of the way. Or I should say in this case will be able to make it the rest of the way, which means 13 laps. Going back up front, we are still being led by Adam Eisenhower, who has a 7/10 of a second lead, against second place driver Gary Whitson. Third place is Greg Bradshaw. Fourth is Ronnie Purdue, and fifth place driver is Jeffrey Gillum. And one of those 5 drivers going down right now, Greg Bradshaw, pitting in. And all the drivers who still need to pit in this far include Adam Eisenhower, Gary B. Whitson, Randy Purdue, Jeffrey Gillum, Hunter McDaniel, and Tommy Amas, including actually Jay Pryor as well. They all need to pit in order to be able to make it the rest of the way. And at this point, they all have one thing in common. They have over 15 laps since their last pit stops, which means they are already in the window to start feeling the effects of those old tires. But Adam up front gives up the race lead to go down pit road as we speak. And that passes the race lead over to the 13 of Gary B. Whitson, with Ronnie Purdue right behind, is 6.4 seconds behind him. And Adam's right side does go up. He takes 2 tires with a full tank of gas, and off pit road he goes. Same strategy as Bryce Whitson. So the only drivers left to pit in include Gary Whitson, Randy Purdue, Jeffrey Gillum, Hunter McDaniel, Tommy Amasi, Jay Pryor. The only drivers needing to pit in. If these drivers stay out this long or longer than this, they might be most likely hoping for a caution, because if the caution comes out, they will not need to pit in. But the only big thing would be them trying their best to hold off the pack of hungry lions behind. The pack that mostly consists of drivers with new tires, or fresher tires in this case. So Gary Whitson, Randy Purdue, Jeffrey Gillum have 18 laps on their tanks this far, which means they have to pit in the next 6 to 7 laps, or else they will end up sputtering, and that is not a pretty sight, unfortunately. And B. Whitson is still going around one more time and now has 19 laps since his last pit stop on his tank and tires. Adam Eisenhower, Bryce Whitson Jr., Wally Tiaheimer, Curtis Vollmer, Cody McFadden. These drivers, including Tommy Haynes and Joshua Gillen, have found 5th gear. They are on the move as we speak, trying to make up for lost time, or in this case, time against the leaders who have not yet pitted in up front. And one more thing here is that the drivers who have not pitted in yet are losing a lot of time with every single lap against those who have pitted in. Adam Eisenhower does smack the wall off the exit of turn number 1. That was turn number 2. But looks like he sustained some right side scratches, but he should be able to still be, yeah, he's not bad damage at all. He's now drafting off 24 Rondoletto on the front stretch. And a status check on Jay Pryor there, Pat. Jay Pryor here currently in the 12th place spot. He is way under speed, but he is still trucking, he is still rolling, and doing about 150 to 160 miles per hour max. Actually, he's clutching it in. Yes, he is clutching it in, trying to save that gas, trying to push it. We have Don Morris in the chat. Welcome to the online sim racing network there, Don. Hope you're doing well. And indeed, a lot. These green flag pit-stops have spurred the field a lot. Well, looks like now the top 3 drivers up front have 21 laps on their tires this far, which means they need to pit in the next 5 to 6 laps, or else they will face some serious danger, some serious negative consequences. And so far, Hunter McDaniel and Tommy Massey have only 19 laps on their tires and tanks. And Tommy Massey right now on the outside, getting freight trained at a fast rate by drivers on fresher tires. And of those drivers who have already pitted in, the battle continues between Wally Tierheimer and the 48 of Curtis Vollmer. Looks like Vollmer was able to get around Wally Tierheimer during this lap. And off the exit of turn number 3, Vollmer gets a better run off the exit of turn number 3. And the gap between the two drivers does increase. 6 laps to go, 6 laps to go. N64 of Cody McFadden here now catching up to 75 of Wally Tierheimer. Wally Tierheimer here holding on to the 10th place spot. He is holding the door and the keys to the top 10. And McFadden has to go through him to get there. So it's going to be an interesting battle once they get to each other, if they in fact find each other. 4-0 of Josh Gillen currently in 12th place, about 5 seconds behind McFadden. As we speak at the same time, we have Josh Gillen not too far ahead of Bobby Tinch. Five laps to go, 5 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. The next flag ends the race. That's right, the next flag ends the race. So at this point, it's 100% take and a 0% give. Oh, Gary Wilson up front gives up the race lead to go down pit road with less than 6 laps to go. Hopefully he hasn't lost too much time and he will be able to stay in the top 5 once he leaves pit road. Jeffrey Gillum as well right behind him, pitting in, and something tells me, yeah, with this late in the race, both drivers will most likely take only gas and no tires. Oh, Whitson misses his pit stop and has to back up. That is not good. Hunter McDaniel and Randy Perdue still staying out, including Jay Pryor. So only 3 drivers lived. Oh, actually 4 drivers. So that's going to include Hunter McDaniel, Randy Perdue, Tommy Massey, and Jay Pryor. Oh, Hunter McDaniel, the soon-to-be new leader, is clutching that sucker in, trying to maximize the fuel economy, trying to save enough gas to make it. From my calculations, the maximum they could go was 24 laps. which means Hunter McDonough is going to end up being, oh yeah, he's gonna be 2 laps short. So I don't believe he will be able to save for 2 laps. That's nearly impossible. Actually, impossible. The most I've seen drivers be able to save for is about half a lap under green flag conditions. And even if a caution would come out right now, Hunter McDaniel, something tells me he would still have to be pushed to the finish line with the way it's going. And now 3 laps to go. Oh, but he's being caught by other drivers. Adam Eisenhower, Greg Bradshaw, there are only 5 seconds behind him and gaining. Greg Bradshaw to the inside of Adam Eisenhower, side by side on the front stretch, entering turn 1. This is exactly what Hunter McDaniel wants to see. It's going to give him some more breathing room. But looks like off the exit of turn 1 there, Adam was able to propel past Greg Bradshaw and maintain 2nd place for now. And now 2 laps to go. Tommy Massey down pit road. Tommy Massey down pit road. During the last lap, they were 4.4 seconds behind him. Hunter McDaniel, that is. Gonna see exactly how it plays out this far. Actually, they're now 2.1 seconds behind McDaniel. And this is the white flag, and he is still saving. Oh, man. Adam Eisenhower and Greg Bradshaw do have their eyes on Hunter McDaniel. They have him in sight. And is he gonna be able to make it? He's in turn 2. He's in turn 2. Just 1 more turn to go. Oh no, Greg Bradshaw's right behind him. Turn number 3 approaches. He powers off turn number 3 nice and strong. He's going to be able to hang on to the lead. Yes, he'll be able to win this thing. Oh man. What a heck of a gamble by McDaniel. Oh man, he wins tonight's race. Greg Bradshaw 2nd, Adam Eisenhower 3rd, Curtis Vollmer 4th, and Cody McFadden in the 5th place spot. And I do believe McDaniel is out of gas. Yes, he is. Top 3 interviews coming up. Hunter McDaniel, Greg Bradshaw, and Adam Eisenhower. So please stay tuned. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see any smoke show or burnouts from the winner tonight. He is out of gas. Well, we're joined up in the booth by the top 3 drivers tonight. Hunter McDaniel, Greg Bradshaw, and Adam Eisenhower. Gonna start with tonight's race winner, Hunter McDaniel. Gonna come up there, buddy?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
How you doing tonight?
Words can't explain it. Oh man, we had a fast car all night. Could run up there in the top 3. Adam was fast, and we were right there beside him. But we got buried back in traffic, and I just can't believe our strategy worked. I got to give props to my crew chief. He won us that race.
Oh man, yeah, that was quite the gamble. And Hunter, you had every single viewer out there at the edge of their seats, hoping and wishing that you would make it, and you did end up delivering. Actually, speaking of that strategy, how were you able to figure that out? Because we actually ended up thinking that you were going to be about 1 to 2 laps short.
Yeah, we were doing the math, and we didn't really have a full fuel run the entire way, and we knew that if we stretched it, we could get 23 laps, and I think we ran almost 26 that last stint. So that last one, I knew that staying in the draft, staying back in traffic, if I pitted with 1 to green, it would have been close, and yeah, it was close, all right. We didn't have enough fuel, but luckily we were able to hold on at the very end.
Indeed, bringing this thing home without a running motor. That was a heck of a night on your part, and congrats to your crew chief and yourself on an amazing strategy that worked out so well. We noticed you had some bad luck during the last race at Chicagoland, but this is a heck of a lot better, and that does not go unnoticed. Well, moving on to Michigan next week, buddy. We look forward to seeing you in the exact same spot. You're doing, starting tonight's race, you were 10th place in points. So after this race, that will pick up a lot. Any thoughts before we let you go?
Yeah, just want to say thank you to everybody at Maverick Motorsports and to Adam Eisenhower and Aaron Mercer. Those guys, great teammates, and they really are supportive. And without good teammates, you're nothing. And so I want to thank those guys, and thank you guys for putting on a great season. It's been a blast this season. I think it's going to get very interesting these last couple races.
Congratulations on success here, Hunter, and see you again next week in the exact same spot at Michigan. Go celebrate.
Thank you, Sean.
That was Hunter McDaniel, but next in line is 74 of Greg Bradshaw. Look up there, Greg.
Hey, Sean, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing great. Pretty excited.
Oh, Greg, you had one of the fastest machines out there, if not the fastest machine out there. You did qualify on the pole and stayed consistent all night long, all race long. How was your night tonight?
Oh, it was a great race. We fell behind early. Got back in the field, back to 20th, and worked our way back up. Did a 2-tire stop at one point and caught a yellow shortly after that. That solidified us back to the front. So that fuel deal. The funny thing is, I was racing Adam Eisenhower. I didn't realize Hunter was out there. I thought we were racing for the lead. That's how into it I was. And then I got clear of him, and I said, "Oh, what's Hunter doing up there?"
Oh man, yeah, that fuel strategy was quite something, and you will notice you were just very consistent all night long tonight, Greg. And also, when it comes down to it, tonight you guys had 2 new things. Basically, the repaved Pocono Raceway, and also the new build here on iRacing. Did the machine meet your expectations tonight?
Yes, it did. I love the new build. I like the way the front end seems to be a little more alive than it was before. And this new version of the track's just excellent. It was a great track to begin with, and now it's even better somehow.
Oh, 10-4, man. Well, Greg, tonight you did start 4th place in points, only 3 points behind Gary Whitson. And with an amazing finish like this on your part, you should be able to maybe get even 2nd place from John Sterling in the points. So that's going to be interesting to find out next week. So congrats on a back-to-back success last week at Chicagoland and this week at Pocono. Look forward to seeing you 1 spot higher. You've been moving up 1 spot each week, so 1 spot higher next week at Michigan International. Any thoughts?
Hey, that sounds good to me. I just want to thank my Performance Motorsports teammates. I want to thank my spotter who's here with me every race. He's half this team. I'm telling you, Brian Heights. Man, we look forward to come back next week and try it again.
Oh, 10-4, brother. Congrats once again, Greg. Go celebrate. You earned it.
Thank you, Sean. Y'all have a good night.
That was Performance Motorsports driver Greg Bradshaw. But next in line is Adam Eisenhower. Get up there, Adam.
I do, Sean. How are you this evening?
Good, how are you, man? It's been too long.
Yeah, it's been way too long. I think this might be my first interview of the season here.
Well, man, we're glad to have you back. And we've noticed you've been just pretty much buying your time all season long. Haven't had the best season, but it's been amazing seeing you coming back with more and more determination to get the job done. And tonight, that did pay off. Those last couple of laps during the gamble of the last fuel strategy, Thinking about it now, was it the right call?
Well, it was the right call for Hunter, and it was interesting in that he got an EOL. I don't know, maybe 35 laps to go, whatever caution happened. He came out onto the track with that new iRacing rule, and that gave him an EOL. And he went to the back of the field. He's like, "Oh man, I can't help but think my race is over." And I just said, "Nah, there's plenty of time." And he outsmarted the rest of the field, and it was a great race. The 86 Sim Speed Shop Silverado was fast all night, and I'm just had some good luck, some bad luck. I'm happy where I'm at. A little disappointed I didn't finish second, because to me that was the race for the win in a way with Greg there, even though it wouldn't have been for the win. But it was just a good night all around, though. Positive thoughts leaving.
Oh, indeed, man. Your success tonight does not go unnoticed. We noticed just pretty much battling left and right all race long. And when it came down to it, thinking about it, looking back, what seems to have been the most difficult part about tonight's race from your perspective?
I don't know. The short run was good. The long run was good. Obviously the most difficult part was not being further back in the field, where I could have taken that splash and go with one to go before the last green flag. Hunter was banking on no caution, and anybody who stayed out was banking on a caution. So at that point, it just becomes what strategy works out. And that's not discrediting Hunter in any way. That was an awesome move, and he had to do a lot still to save what he did to make it to the green. And my gosh, he might have started sputtering with right before the finish line. So he had precisely enough fuel. It was pretty amazing. I can't help but laugh at that. I don't mind losing to that. That was just precision.
Yeah, indeed, man. But it's still a great success on your part here, despite that. And that does not go unnoticed. And hopefully this race does mark a turn of events or turn of races, or in this case, the way your races go for the rest of the season. Next week being in Michigan, then the next one at Homestead Miami Speedway, where we know you want to go celebrate. So any thoughts before we let you go?
No, thank you very much, guys, for putting on a show. It's great to be back up here. When you don't make mistakes in the middle of the race, you don't go to the back of the field, and that's where bad luck happens. So this race, I tried to limit my mistakes, stay up in the front throughout, and make my own fate rather than put it in a bunch of everybody else's hands in pack racing. So thanks to you, thanks to everybody who watches, supports the league. Thanks to Rick and all the admins at ExtremeMotorsports99.com and Sim Speed Shop for putting a great button box next to me where I can make all my moves.
Well, congrats once again on your success, and look forward to seeing you 2 spots higher next week, doing the Eisenhower Motorsports team extra proud. Have a good night and go celebrate.
Thank you, Sean.
That was Adam Eisenhower with the Eisenhower Motorsports team. So 3 different teams here tonight. Hunter McDaniel, Maverick Motorsports, Greg Bradshaw, Performance Motorsports, and Adam Eisenhower with the Eisenhower Motorsports team. That's 1st through 3rd respectively. That was a heck of a race, the longest race all season, 110 laps. And we enjoyed every moment of it. We also hope that every single viewer out there enjoyed the show put on by the Extreme Motorsports drivers. And tonight's race was Overtons 150. That's Overtons 150. Chase 3 of 5. Season number 10, Extreme Motorsports99.com Camping World Truck Series. Brought to you by AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. That's AdvancedSimulationProducts.com, custom specializing in custom button boxes. So check them out. Ladies and gentlemen, next week's race, Chase Race 4 of 5, the LTI Printing 200. That's the LTI Printing 200 at Michigan International Speedway. We look forward to seeing everybody there. You thought this race was intense? Wait until next week's race, because the closer we get to the end of the season, the greater the intensity. I am Sean Zulu and David Everly behind the camera, and thanks for watching us live on the Online Sim Racing Network. Have a good night.